kind of brief Blender tutorial modeling 3D objects for our Adobe Aero scene. Blender it's not required to be used, but if you're working in the digital realm, it is a free open source software that's like very powerful for getting in object modeling or renders or animation, just like pretty great. So just a quick note about interface. We can go into Edit, Preferences, open up our preferences. I do want to share what I am using and some recommendations. Let's see, editing. I have my new objects aligning to the 3D cursor. Input, I have emulate numpad activated because I am on a laptop. If you have a keyboard with the numpad, don't have to do this. Let's see, what else do I have? Navigation. My orbit method, so the way I orbit around objects is with the turntable with my scroll wheel. Orbit around selection is selected. Auto perspective. Let's see, my key map, I have select with the left mouse click. My spacebar action is search. Middle mouse action is orbit. You can pan with shift and middle mouse. Make sure your undo steps are maxed out. All right, cool. So then to save these preferences, you'll go to File, Defaults, Save Startup File. So mine is already good to go. All right, so I'm going to start by adding a reference photo. And I'm pressing S to scale. Perfect. So let's start. Shift A, add mesh, cylinder. Oh, actually, let's delete that. X to delete. I'm in top mode. That's just how I like to start my Blender. But as we see, front facing, we don't see any. We only see the edge of this plane. So what I'm gonna do is, with this my reference image selected, R, X, 90, enter, cool. So then top down, we'll be able to see the top of the object, front and side. So I'm going to start with Shift A, cylinder, tab to go into edit mode, rotate, Y, 90. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is delete that. Shift A, cylinder, down at the bottom here, we have a chance to edit our shape. I'm going to lower the vertices to 8. Less vertices, lower file size. Pretty important to remember. Not necessary, but will save you a lot of time in rendering. So I'm going to go into edit mode with tab, R, Y, 90, G to grab, just moving it right about there. I'm going to scale it, and then S, X. Just scale along the x-axis. Perfect. So G. Alright, and now I'm going to add some loop cuts to kind of smooth this shape a little bit. Let's do add one. Control Z to undo, Shift R, click, drag. So I have this like hideous octagon cylinder going on. I want to smooth that out so it looks more realistic. Go to the wrench for the modifier tool, the modifier tab, subdivision surface, and I'm going to change it so you can see the vertices applied to the modified object. Change this up to 2. Space bar for search, shade smooth. You see I got rid of all those lines. So we have a nice little microphone. I might go in and edit just a little bit. So double tapping A to select, A double tap deselect. I'm gonna hold Option, and it's gonna grab that top part. I'm just gonna grab G, X, gonna bring it out here. Go into wireframe mode, grab that, G, X, back into solid. All right, good enough. I might actually, you know what I'll do is Option, GX, Option, G, X. Option click, Shift Option click, GX. Yeah, that looks a little better. Tab back into edit mode, or I'm sorry, object mode. And that is going to be mic head. Empty, that's my image. Where is this cylinder? Oh, it's just the origin. I'm going to delete that. Cool. So next, let's go in Shift A, cylinder again, tab for edit mode, R for rotate, Y 90, G, and I'm pressing Shift and then mouse wheel to pan, G to select, and we'll scale it down just a bit. Option, click on this edge, G, X to grab along the X, and then we'll do E for extrude, boom. Scale it down, get that bevel, cool. Let's add another sub D, and it gives you this beautiful blob. We can fix that by adding loop cuts and creases. So I'm doing Control R, loop cut, loop cut. I'm also going to go in Option, select, Option, select, Option, select. So I have all these vertices selected. Command E, edge crease, drag it up, and you can see up here in the top left you see crease +1. You can control how strong or weak you want that crease. I'm going to go real strong. Spacebar, shade smooth, get rid of those lines. Boom. All right, I have, oops. That's not what I wanted. ES. Command E, edge crease. Nope. Undo, undo, undo. There we go. ES. Let's go back and recrease those. Better. Cool. So what I just did was add these, add a couple more faces to this cylinder, so it didn't give me that like kind of weird sort of mesh look to it. All right. Cool. And I'm not getting this to exact size. This is more of like an influence on my modeling. All right, so Shift A. Cube, yeah, because we just want a general shape. I'm making this to be identifiable, but not, doesn't have to be perfect. All right, S to scale, G to move, panning over there, and I'm gonna go into wireframe. It's gonna be easier for me to see what's going on. So I'm clicking, dragging, and through wireframe, what's really nice is if I'm in solid and I'm clicking and dragging, let's close this guy. So if I'm clicking and dragging, I'm sorry. See, these two vertices are selected, but the back two are not. This is a symmetrical object, so I'm going to go into wireframe, and when I click and drag that way, everything through the object is selected. So I'm going to click, drag, G, boom, A to deselect, and A to select, G, G, and I'm shift clicking E to extrude, G, G, E for extrude, G, can rotate this so it's a little better, G, just adjust that. Extrude, R to rotate, G, boom. All right, let's check it out in solid mode. All right, she's all right. She's got these faceted edges. You don't really want that. So again, modifiers, subdivision, going in edit mode. I'm gonna go Control R to add a couple loop cuts to tighten up those edges. And we'll do select, shade smooth. All right, looks good. Adding another plane, enter, or I'm sorry, tab, edit mode, RY, oops, X, sorry, it's R for rotate, X, 90. And we're going to be making this little red bracket here. So let's start. I'm trying to think the best way to start doing this. I'm going to move, I think I'm just going to move everything over just so I can orient myself with the center. Okay, so you see the beginning of this bracket that I'm creating, it's you know, flush to the image, but in reality this goes around the microphone like a U shape. So let's go into, within edit mode, 3 for right orthographic, G, I'll just move it out, Y, boom. And let me just close this viewport, pull this up, G, Z, boom. Make sure these are all, oh, it's intersecting, okay. Just want to name these really quick. Body, top, mic body, lower, and this will be housing. You see this like little intersection. What we're going to do is press A, G, Y, pull it out just a bit. Okay, perfect. I pulled it out a little too far, but we had to adjust, no big deal. So it's this like this sort of U shape bracket that goes around. And it looks like it starts curving inward right about here. So we'll go here, extrude, C, G, Y, something like that. And then I'm going to add loop cuts, one here and one here, extrude on the X, extrude on the X. And then again, grabbing everything, extruding A, G, Y, just to pull it away. We'll add a subdivision, add some more loop cuts. Just to clean up that shape a little bit. And then we'll add a mirror so that it goes around the mic, but what I need to do is set the origin correctly. All right, let's go mirror, cube. All right, perfect. And what I did was just, I'm having it mirror this cube object in the center, in the world origin, because if I didn't have that, this mirroring would mirror here, its origin right here. So just to make things super simple, mirroring it with the cube that I put just about centered, and I just eyeballed it. Okay. Going back in wireframe, need to add another loop cut over here. GX. Have those merge. Another loop cut. GX. Go into solid. All right, so we have two sides of it done. Then we'll go in to close this. Back in edit mode. Actually, let's take a look. So it just meets in the middle, okay. Okay. Rotate. G. And what I'm gonna do is grab all these faces. Cool. And I'm gonna go extrude Y and just extrude it into itself. Oh, and we have to have something for this to connect to. Oh, I see. Okay. So what we're going to do here, think, how is the best way to do this? Let's go E, X, add a loop cut. Back in faces. Close this. E for extrude, Y. Grab and X. Add one more loop cut. This should be it. All right. I feel a lot better about that. Now this, I know this isn't exact, exactly how it looks in real life, but we're just trying to get a basic idea of, what is this object? All right, let's make sure we label this. Yep, they're all labeled. One more object. We are going to go Shift A, circle, tab for edit mode, G, not that. Let's delete that circle. Shift A, circle, turn that down to 8. G, Z, scale it down, E, Z, E, S, E, Z, E, S, E, Z, scale that just a little bit. Yep. Actually, I'm going to go Option, Shift, scale that down. So it fits in this little nook here. Option, click, E, Z, up, E, S, F for fill. Let's add another subdivision. Go in, loop cut, just to tighten that up, and shade smooth. Option at the bottom, let's go ES and fill. All right, and make sure we label that. The mount, where you mount it on top of the camera. Let's go What am I looking for? Visibility. I'm just like closing out the visibility on my cube. Just I'm using my cube as like a mirroring tool, but I don't want it to show up later on when I like export it. Okay, lastly, we have this wire. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this one. Maybe the screw. Let's do just to make things simple, we might just kind of imply this TRS cable. So let's go Shift A, do a little cube, S for scale, G to grab, going into wireframe. Oops. All right, and I'm just kind of following the path here, adding in loop cuts. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to get an idea of what this shape is. All right, oops. All right, we're committing. We're just gonna go boom. E, drag, E, S, E, E, S, G, E, E, S, E, E, S, and E. Cool. Pretty happy with that. I'll smooth it out. Add some loop cuts. Okay. Cool. And get rid of this. TRS head. Shift S, cursor to active, Shift A. How are we going to do this? The curve. Path. I'm trying to think. Maybe let's do Shift A, path. Oops. There we go. Okay, so I'm just making a little tube, and that's right in here in the object data with my path selected. Scroll down to bevel round, and I can change the kind of the depth of the chord. So I'm going to go in and just kind of move my, oh shoot, move my path around. Just like dragging with G as I have been. And let me close a couple of things or hide a couple of things. Oh, it's not even aligned. GY, GY, Shift S, selection to cursor, cool. And I'm just going to start just using E to extrude. And throwing that back in. Okay, so we're not doing this loop-de-loop. That would be another video, but let's go in, let's model this, and then we should be done. And we'll attach it to the cord. Shift A. Actually, we might be able to just duplicate this. Let's do that. Let's go Shift D for duplicate. And G over here. ES, EX. Okay, that is a very long audio jack. All right, so we're gonna do our best to line this up with the end of this. Cursor to selected. So let's rotate it. GY. GX. GZ. All right. Cool. We have a microphone. So now is probably a good time to take a break. And then we'll get into materials, which is down here, this little material tab. And I'm just going to start assigning. There's like a lot you can do with material nodes, but I just think for this video it might be best if we keep it pretty simple. Let's do a glossy. Oh. What happened? Yes, use nodes. Yeah. Okay. So basically what I did is I made a velvet in this dark gray. I made a glossy with a kind of a high roughness that I used on this, and this, and this. And then I made a glossy for the housing. All right, cool. So let's make sure we save. road 2. Yeah, we're not gonna get into like any like UV mapping to like add in the label. I don't know, could we? Do we want to? No, not now. This isn't a modeling class. Like, this is just basic. I want to show you like how to make basic shapes. So what we should do is export as OBJ, put on the desktop. All right, and then we'll go to Aero. All right. Seem to have lost the textures or the, let's go back in Blender. Does it not like, I'm wondering if it just doesn't like this texture. Where's diffuse? There it is. Road. Oh, no, that's not what we want. Okay. Should be duh, had to make sure the material groups were exported as well. Otherwise, it was just going off my viewport display. Gotcha. Okay. See up. Road with color. Back to Aero. Get rid of that. And all right. She is exactly what we want. move it up a little bit. So now she's an arrow. Oh crap. That cube showed up. That cube that I did not want. You know what we're gonna do? We are going to just gonna lighten that. We're gonna apply our modifiers, and you can do that with this drop down menu. Apply, 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 apply. Make sure you do top down, apply, and this little cube, delete it, and we don't need that either. Boom. Let's try one more time. OBJ with color, number 2, objects. You can also limit your, I totally forgot, you can limit your export to the selection only, so if you're only selecting, so I didn't have to get rid of those cubes, but you can limit just the selection. Material group is on, export, back to Aero, delete that dude, with the color. Oh, right, that's why it's importing on its side, because in Blender it is Z up, Y forward. In Aero it's Y up, Z or X forward, I'm not really sure. Doesn't really matter what forward is, but remember, you can always go in. Oh, you dirty jerk. You know what, that's what I'll do. So apologies, just doing a little bit of troubleshooting as we go. Y is up, Z forward, sure. 3. So Y is up in Aero, Z or X forward. We're gonna get it, I promise. Boom. All right. So she's in, no weird cube. I can move it around, it's oriented the correct Y-axis up. Yeah, I do see, now bringing it into Aero, I see some edits I would make. I would definitely extend this down so it hits, you know, whatever the floor is. But we have been through a lot in this video. Created this beautiful microphone, got it in Aero, exported from Blender, making sure those material properties are selected, making sure the orientation is correct. But we made it. Awesome. I hope this is helpful.